Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo! Hump day, yeah!
Hello, everybody. Just checking, making sure I didn't still have my mic muted. How's everybody doing today on this wonderful Wednesday, this happy hump day? Always so glad to be with you guys on a Wednesday evening, hanging out for a little bit, covering some news, covering some interesting things, at least things that are interesting to me. Hopefully they're interesting to you as well. You know, this is the first Wednesday in a long time that I can actually say I had a really good day with no work issues. Of course, that could be because I'm on vacation and have been completely ignoring any communications from work. I don't know. There might be a correlation there. But in any case, it's been a very good Wednesday, and I'm very happy to be here with you guys. I think my mic was a little hot there. Let me turn it down a little bit so I'm not blowing out your guys' eardrums. All right, so I got a couple of things that I want to cover with you guys tonight. Hasn't been like a huge news week lately for stuff, but there are just a couple of things that have come up that I thought would be interesting to talk about. And I'll mention this now. I'll mention it maybe a couple of times during the show as people start to come in. But I decided to jump on this trend because apparently all the cool kids are doing this now, where you've got super chat goals. And, you know, as usual, you know, I'm always, you know, very appreciative whenever you guys, you know, send in a super chat or do whatever you do. It's certainly not mandatory. It's certainly not something that you have to do. But because I'm on vacation this week, I actually spent the day in Manhattan yesterday. And walking around, went to a bunch of places, had my Meta Ray-Bans on, was taking a bunch of video throughout the day. I was in the Nintendo store, I was in the Harry Potter store, Midtown Comics. I went to a barcade, walked around there, played a few games there, including the new Dungeons & Dragons Pinball. This is like the second time I've had a chance to play it. So I was taking a bunch of video there, and I'm going to put that video up as shorts over the next couple of weeks. But what I thought would be fun is if we happen to hit the super chat goal, which is just 5, if we happen to hit that goal before the end of the show, I'll give you guys a sneak peek at some of the video that I shot before it goes up as shorts. Now, I have to do some editing to them. Some of them I'm going to take out the sound because it's just like ambient background, and I'm going to put some music to it and different stuff. So this is raw footage. I'll be showing you guys the raw footage that I took while I was walking around. You guys can choose what you want to see. Do you want to see the barcade? Do you want to see Nintendo, Harry Potter? You know, you guys let me know what you guys want to see. But that's if we happen to hit the goal before the end of the show. If not, no big deal. The videos are going to be up over the next few weeks. If you guys want to see them, you'll see them. And if not, again, no big deal. I just thought apparently everybody's doing this now, so I figured, what the hell? I had something to show off. So let's see what happens. All right. But again, not a big deal if it's not something that you guys want to do. All right, let's take a minute. Let's say hi to some of the people in the chat here. I know there were some people a little earlier. I'll try to go back and see them if I missed them. Robot Ron is here. He heard Bill's got a show. How about that? Good to see you here. Of course, Jason Little Alien, our moderator, is here. Always good to have you with us, of course. We got Jim the Pacers fan here. Sir Sega. Who's Bill? I don't know. I have no idea who Bill could be. Ah, look at this. We're starting right off with James Hates Everything. See, get a rope. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat, James. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thanks for being here as always. Ritual Dello is here. Who else we got? We got the B-Me here. Honestly, terminated the wrong thing. They should have terminated the A1 cabinet. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that in a little bit, of course. We got Calvin Wong here as well. And my good buddy Glen's Retro Show. Yep, we're going to be talking about him. We're going to be talking about his Kickstarter and what happened Sunday evening when we tried to do a show together. Also, let's see who else. Earlier, and I don't have the chat here to bring up, but if you guys are still here, I definitely want to say hi to JJ. I know he was here in the chat earlier as well, and I'm going to get this name wrong. Rich Ongren. Rich Ongren was also here, so hopefully you guys are still here, and just wanted to say hi as we get going. Oh, Retro Randy is here. Anyone with retro in their name is okay by me. Awesome. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. All right, so let's get started. Let's start talking with let's start with Glen, because I see Glen's here. So I want to start with this. Let me bring this up and move over. All right, so here we go. So Sunday night was the end of the FU Kickstarter, the Build-A-Cade FU family unit, full-size unit, fun unit, whatever you want it to be, that's what it is. And it came in at 280 backers, just over 534,000 in goal, over the, with a 200,000 goal, which we hit in 7 minutes when it launched on my show. Thank you very much. 2 months ago. Did you somehow catch what? Yes, Mystery Encoder. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us, man. Definitely appreciate you being here. Yes, you caught one of Bill's shows. All right, so getting back to this, huge shout out, huge congratulations to Glen. Glen, remind me, with all the goings on Sunday, I know we were kind of, as it was counting down, we were taking bets on when it was going to end. Did I say 535,000 or did I say 540,000? I can't remember where I came down on. I thought I said 535,000, which means I was the closest when it came to it. But remind me in the chat, because I don't remember whether I said 535. Even if I said 540, I think I was still closer than the other guys who were like 545, 550 or something. But anyway, so we tried to do a countdown show. I said 540. I said 540. Glen won. I thought he said 545. Did he say 535? Maybe I'm mixing the two of us up. Maybe he's the one who said 535. Does that mean he gets his free cabinet? I'm going to be very disappointed. Anyway, that's kind of a little joke from when we were trying to do the countdown to the end of the Kickstarter on Sunday. I know some of you guys, you started to watch it on Sunday, and then about 8 minutes into it, the stream just shut down. I mean, we were all talking, we were all going through things, and then the next thing I know, Glen is like cursing up a storm, and we're all like, what the hell happened? I pronounced it perfectly. Well, I'm so glad I pronounced your name right, because it's so easy to mess these things up. I mean, people mispronounce mine all the time. And thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate that. I think that puts us 2 towards the goal. Again, if you guys are just coming in and you missed it, I've got a super chat goal. If we hit 5 super chats before the end of the show, I'll show you guys some of my footage that I took when I was down in New York City yesterday, before I edit it, turn them into shorts, all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, we're trying to do this stream, and like 8 minutes in, all of a sudden it just shuts down. We're trying to we're wondering what the heck happened. We're scrambling to figure something out. Do we try to do it on my show? Do we try to do it on Twisted Gaming's show? Twisted Gaming was on with us. We wound up throwing it up on Facebook for a while, which wasn't really great, because apparently on Facebook, Glen was the only one that people could hear. They couldn't hear the rest of us at all, just because of the way it was. I was only going to be on for like an hour anyway. I had told Glenn earlier in the day, I said, love to come on, love to do it with you. Promised the family that we would do some stuff later on in the evening, so I could only stay on for about an hour. But it was back and forth. It was Facebook, and then after about another half hour or so, Chris Twisted Gaming decided to try to stream it on his channel to finish it up. So they did all of that stuff. If you go on Glenn's channel, you can see as much of it as he was able to piece together. Luckily, once the stream went down, he started recording it, I guess in OBS or whatever he was using, or Video Ninja, whatever it was. He started actually recording it, so he'd have the footage, and he pieced it together. It's on his channel right now, so you can go and you can see the whole thing. But apparently, what happened was, Glenn in his intro has an AI picture of himself and Glenn Baisley as the Terminators, flanking a Build-A-Cade FU cab. And in it, Glenn is holding a Glenn Planamento is holding a shotgun. I'm trying to remember if Glenn Baisley is holding a gun as well. Hold on. Let me just see something here. I could show you guys. Let me bring this up. Hopefully I won't get in trouble for this. I'll bring it up just for a sec. So this is the picture that they were talking about with Glenn holding the gun, with the two of them holding a gun. I don't want to bring it up for too long because I don't want YouTube to kill me. But again, apparently that was the issue. And they flagged it for like inappropriate content or something like that. And they not only took it down, took the stream down, but they stopped Glenn from being able to live stream, period. Now, I've since spoken to him earlier today. He's fully reinstated with them. So he'll be able to live stream this Friday and everything. As a matter of fact, I actually have behind the scenes footage of Glenn trying to work this out with YouTube to get his show reinstated. Here it is. And there you go. That's exactly how Glenn was able to get his channel back. I'm telling you, he's no nonsense. Don't mess with the Gleninator. Glenn, I hope you liked that. Just had a little fun with that at YouTube's expense. Shh, don't anybody tell them. I don't want my stream taken down. But again, luckily, Glenn has had his channel fully restored, and he'll be back on Friday, which is great to hear. I say hi to a few other people. J-Rod is here. Michael B is here. What actually happened was Glenn was too much man and broke YouTube. That could very well be true. Brooklyn Menace is here. Good to see you as always, Brooklyn. So glad to have you joining us as always. Let's see. I don't want to miss anybody. Oh, this is so true. Yet people can put hateful, slanderous language in their titles and have no issues. It's just, it was complete nonsense. See, that's how it happened. No joke. Would I lie to you guys? That's exactly how it happens. If the stream is kicked off the air, we'll resume on Brooklyn's channel. You know what? I have no problem with that. That would work. But again, just to kind of finish everything up, congrats, Glenn, on an incredibly successful Kickstarter. Glad to see the results for the Build-A-Cade FU, and like Glenn has said, now the real work begins, because I know he's going to be super busy making sure everything's exactly the way it needs to be, 100% for the people who backed it. So I don't envy you, my friend, but I am glad for you. So congratulations. Israel Gaming is here. What's up, Bill and friends? Always good to see you, of course. My channel is open to anyone who loses access to theirs. I've done it many times. Always good, always good. Yeah, yeah. You know, I didn't have this in my notes, but just really quick here, I want to give a huge shout out to P-Dubs and Brooklyn and a bunch of other guys. I know James Hates Everything is here. P-Dubs hosted a walkabout golf tournament that started this past weekend, still going on. The final results are going to be this weekend coming up, but it was a lot of fun. I know P-Dubs streamed some of it. Brooklyn was able to stream a couple of the matches, which was really good. And we had a lot of fun. I was able to make it through my first 2 games, and then I got taken out by my family. Randy knocked me out during the Tokyo on the Tokyo course, which is one of my favorites, and I'm really good at that one, except I just had a really bad, one of the holes just kicked my butt. I wound up getting like a triple bogey on one of what should have been one of the easier holes. It killed me, and he just skated past me, took me out, but it was really a lot of fun. So still going on. Again, thank you very much to P-Dubs for putting that together. Thanks to Brooklyn and everybody else who participated, who helped out, and everything like that. So, again, you can check that out. You can check some of the streams out on P-Dubs' channel. I know, like I said, Brooklyn streamed 1 or 2 on his channel. So, if you want to see how we did on the Pixel Putt tournament, which, again, is still going on, that'll be finished up this weekend, be sure you guys check that out. All right, so from one Terminator to the next, just to bring this up. Before we do that, B. Kirby is in the house gifting 10 show memberships. Always good to see you here, B. Kirby. Thank you so much for that. I always appreciate that. Such a good guy, such a stand-up guy, always throwing those memberships out to people. So congrats to everybody who just got a membership, and thank you. Thank you, B. Kirby, for doing that. Definitely appreciate it. You know, I always forget to do this. I've got a couple of these videos here. So since we're doing Terminator, let's do this one. Again, thank you so much for doing that, B. Kirby. Definitely appreciate it. All right. So let's talk Terminator 2 Deluxe for just a minute. I know most of you guys have probably seen this already, so I'm not going to spend a tremendous amount of time on it. But this is something that we've known for a while here, going back to port data saying that something was coming in, and then the EB Games, the Canadian GameStop, actually listed this on their site several weeks ago. So everybody was wondering, okay, you know, when is this actually going to show up in the US for people to purchase, if anybody actually happens to be into this kind of thing, wants this particular machine. Maybe you missed the original T2, or maybe you just trying to get everything in the deluxe format. Well, it's now officially available in the US. You can get it from Amazon, you can get it from Walmart for sure. Not sure who else has it. Maybe Best Buy. I haven't really checked them. I know, like I said, Amazon and Walmart definitely have it. $599.99, which is a slightly better price than the original Terminator 2, which I think came out at $699.99 originally. But still pretty high of a price for a deluxe machine, in my opinion, especially a machine that only has 1 game on it. You're talking at least $100 over what most of the other deluxes are. Again, it looks like this is another one that's on the slim side, measuring only 18.4 inches deep here. You can really tell it in the artwork, with the artwork being so far down on the cab instead of, Arnold's head being more up here where it should be. Little on the short side too, at 61.5 inches. But again, if anybody's interested in this, if anybody missed out on the first one, they really wanted the Terminator 2 arcade machine, because it is actually, from what people have said, it is actually one of the better ones that they came out with. Now, I don't know if this particular one is better than the original or not. Plays the same game, just the one game, has the making of video, whatever. But it's out there. So if you're interested, Amazon, Walmart, $5.99.99. Got another super chat here from Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger. What's up, Bill and chat? $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. That puts us 2 away from our goal of 5 super chats. Oh, this is good to know too. Thank you, Mr. Encoder, for putting this out there. The soft mushrooms still work too, or buy stuff kit. I think they confirmed worked, which buy stuff kit fits. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have to assume it's probably the same PCB that was in the original anyway, but it's always good to have that confirmed by the people who worked on it and the people who know, like Mr. Encoder with their soft mod, or buy stuff with their gun kit for this. Biggie D in the house. What's up, everybody? Always good to see you, Biggie D. Thanks for being here. Of course, the Be Me. We've got Nope, Don't Want a T2. The 2 people can't play unless they get physical with each other, and is designed for persons who 5 feet or shorter in height. Yeah, I do think that is a problem with this. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that people standing next to each other is as big of an issue, because these guns aren't connected to the machine like real Terminator guns, the real T2 arcade is. They are on a cord. They do come back. So you can stand back and stand a little bit apart from each other, which is good. But I would agree on the height of this thing. If you're too tall, you're definitely going to be like aiming down, which is not necessarily a good way to play the game. But yeah, I can definitely understand what you're saying. No new FCC listings, so it should be same hardware as generally the rule. Makes sense for sure. Cornicade is here. Always good to see you, of course. Steve Sale, buddy, one of my walkabout pixel putt partners. Let's say that 10 times fast. This weekend we had a really great game. The 2 of us played together. Very close game. I beat him by 1 stroke, so he definitely kept me on my toes. Also, everybody in the chat, please say happy birthday to Steve Sale, because this past weekend, I think it was Monday, was his birthday. So everybody wish Steve a happy birthday. P-Dubs is here. Wait a minute, Bill has a show now? I know, who knew? Who knew? You guys are too much. You guys are definitely too much. All right, moving on. We've got a little bit of other news going on. I see the birthday wishes coming in. Thank you guys so much for that. Wishing Steve a happy birthday. Really good guy. Keep them coming. Keep them coming while I talk about this. So for those of you who may have missed this, Nintendo has announced some new features for their Nintendo Switch Online for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. First up, we actually have mouse control for a lot of the games. Now, they just came out with Mario Paint, obviously, which used mouse controls on the Super Nintendo. And I think it was announced pretty much right away that if you had a Switch 2, you were going to be able to use the new Joy-Cons as a mouse for this. And they said you'd actually be able to plug a USB mouse in and use that as well, either on the Switch 2 or the original Switch, which is pretty cool. I have to test that out. Haven't had a chance to try that out yet. But it looks like they've expanded that as well, because not only can you use it with this game or any games that are just specifically meant to have mouse controls, but they've added it to other games so that you could choose whether you want mouse controls or to use the controller, like Picross, Nobunaga's Ambition. What was the other game? I thought there was another game too, but I guess any game that you could potentially use mouse control for, they've now added support for. And then this is something that they should have had for quite some time now. Thank goodness they're starting to add this, so you can remap buttons in the game for your Super Nintendo games, so you can play them the way that you want. You don't have to be limited to however they set it up. But good to know that Nintendo is continuing to do stuff like this, continuing to change, to add features to their online service. All right, Steve, very welcome there. Very welcome. Uh-oh, breaking news. The champion has to play me, the final boss, to collect their winnings. That would be quite the twist for the Pixel Putt tournament, for sure. Yeah, double or nothing. Yeah, okay. Okay. Next time you should have the winner of this tournament be the final boss in the next tourney. That's actually, that's not a bad idea, Ritual Dello. That is definitely not a bad idea. I think that would be a lot of fun for sure. All right. Next up is this. And I thought this was pretty cool. This look at the Vectrex Mini. Vectrex Mini is the new micro console you'll need to own. So, I don't know how many of you are really familiar with the Vectrex. Now, I did not have one of these when I was younger, but my cousin did. And I remember he had a couple of games for it, playing on it. I always thought it was really cool, a lot of fun. Looking back, I think this would be something really neat to own. And it's really cool that they're doing it in this mini format now, which hopefully this is something that will actually come out. Uh-oh, that's the same concept as they did in the Running Man movies. So, says here... see if I can blow this up a little bit. With 80s rivals such as the Atari 2600 and Intellivision for our domination of the TV, the Vectrex offered game is something different. It came with its own built-in screen capable of producing vector graphics like those seen in arcade titles like Asteroids. Sadly, it wasn't a commercial success, but it has retained its appeal with retro collectors over the decades, so much so that it's now getting its chance at micro console fame. So you've got this new company founded by Flynn's Generation and Neo Retro, that's picked up the rights to it, and they showed it off for the first time at Gamescon last weekend or the weekend before, whenever that was. It wasn't that long ago, but here's a look at it. You can see really how tiny it is, but definitely still something that's playable. And this is, I think this is a cool picture, having it right next to a full-size version of the Vectrex. It's pretty cool that the controller is going to be wireless, of course. The controller is really small, too. The fuck? Wasn't I just talking about this? Probably. I know a lot of people have been talking about this. But I do think this thing is really cool. Again, this was not something that I owned as a kid, but I did, like I said, my cousin had one, and I remember playing it, and I always thought it was pretty cool. Let's see. I don't know if the volume is going to play on this. Hopefully you guys can hear the volume on it. I mean, it's just background noise, but just kind of giving you guys an idea of how this thing looks. Oh, not in relation to this, I made a joke to G.I. Joe about remaking one. Oh, okay. All right, I gotcha. Before I knew about this thing. You know, you and Glen both. Glen has also been talking about wanting to do a version of the Vectrex for a while. And it's just funny that a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool to do like a mini version of the Vectrex or something like that?" And then, bam, this thing kind of pops up out of nowhere. I think this really took everybody by surprise that something like this was coming up. But another look at it from Gamescon. That was quick. Let's try that again. Now the thing about this though is that you have to remember though is that it isn't actually a vector screen. They're actually going to be using an OLED panel to simulate the vector screen on it. Now with OLED, you know, because you get those really deep blacks, it should look really good still, even not being an actual Vectrex screen. I'm curious how they're going to do the overlays for it. I would assume that they're software overlays, that they'll just be built in as part of the games rather than, you know, a little mini plastic overlay to put on the thing, because they'd have to recreate all the ones for all the games that are out there in order to do it. Not to mention that, you know, one of the things they said is obviously this can use an SD card, so you could put your own games on it. There's a ton of homebrew Vectrex games out there. I don't know what the homebrew ones, if people made their own overlays to go with those as well. But if you're doing this in a smaller scale like that, it would and using an OLED screen, it would definitely make sense to have the overlays just be digital as part of the software on it. But guys, let me know in the chat, is this something you guys are interested in? Because their Kickstarter is going to be starting hopefully soon. I think Jason did put the link in the chat for okay, so it's to the Vectrex website, so you can just kind of follow it for whenever they put their Kickstarter live. I know I'm going to be keeping track of it and seeing what it looks like. Did you order? Not yet. I'm still considering it. It's really tough. I've said it multiple times. Just I need to be very careful where I spend my money right now. There's a bunch of things that really interest me. So we'll see which one I plunk down my hard-earned cash for. But that Commodore is definitely one that interests me. Goofy Foot, I still have my Vectrex. Good for you. That's pretty cool. Now there's a store not too far from me, a gaming store that deals in a bunch of different stuff. They have old games going back to they've got some cartridges going back Atari 2600. I picked up some ColecoVision cartridges from them, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, all that kind of stuff. They've got some consoles for sale. I'm still considering picking up an N64 possibly from them, because I'm not waiting for the analog. I might just get the real thing at some point. They also deal in, like, you know, card games and D&D and Warhammer and just all that kind of stuff. I walked in there once and they actually had a Vectrex in there for sale, and I debated. It was like I think they were selling it for like $400, which I guess isn't too bad of a price. I was telling Glenn about it, and he said that sounded like a pretty good deal, assuming everything worked on it, which I don't know. I just asked the price on it. But by the time I went back, like the next time, it was gone. Somebody already snatched it. So, according to Jason, they're interested in doing a larger one, but they wanted to start smaller. So, again, it would be interesting to see. Only be a pack of 29 overlays. They could reproduce them. They should at least allow the area to clip them in, as there are already full-size reproductions available. Interesting. Simon A1up is here. I have fantastic Vectrex homebrew carts of Moon Patrol and Time Vector, which I guess is like a Time Pilot clone. They came with several custom overlays, so there you go. Or Vector, I guess Vector Pilot is what it's supposed to do. But yeah, I think this thing looks pretty cool. Again, let me know, guys. I know Goofy Foot was saying not only did he have one, he still has one. How many of you guys owned a Vectrex? Or maybe you didn't own it and you're interested in picking up something like this. I think it is very cool. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it and see what happens with it. Meatball Saucy is here. Another guy that we played Pixel Putt with this weekend. We had a blast playing together. It was a lot of fun for sure. All right. Oh, why is this not showing what I want to show? Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm too young to have owned one, but a larger version of a clone. My dad owned one. All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. This is something that I actually just saw maybe like a half hour before I started the show, and I thought it was interesting. This showed up, I think, on Bleeding Cool yesterday. But I don't know how many of you guys are into gaming music at all. But if you're into music, and if you're especially interested in games by Rare, there's a brand new box set that's it's either out or it's coming out soon. Rare 40th anniversary box set announced by I Am 8-Bit. This is a 4 LP set, and I love vinyl. I just got to tell you, I'm a big fan of vinyl records for sure. I'm glad they're doing this as vinyl and not CD or anything else, or just digital downloads or whatever. But this looks really cool. This is a 4 LP set of just different music from Rare games, going all the way back to the early days of Rare up through newer titles like Sea of Thieves. Looks like it's going to retail for about $100, which, if you think about it, isn't too bad. It's $25 NLP, which is right along, what most vinyl records new cost. I mean, I've seen records going for $30, $40 a piece, brand new. So you got games like Sea of Thieves, Viva Pinata, Battletoads, and Battle Maniacs. Let me blow this up a little bit better so you guys can see it. Don't do that. Here we go. Here's some of the titles: Sea of Thieves, Viva Pinata, Battletoads, and Battle Maniacs. Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, Connect Sports, Perfect Dark, and Perfect Dark Zero. Nice. Killer Instinct Gold, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Jet Force Gemini, Grabbed by the Ghoulies. Wow. Cameo Elements of Power. So yeah, just a ton of different. Does it have GoldenEye music? It doesn't list it here. That one I think might just be a little bit difficult because so much of the music was like the James Bond music. 400 reasons why someone on Facebook Marketplace they want 1,000 for the Vectrex. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. But pressed on 4 shades of Rareware gold and blue vinyl, and nod to the colors of the Legendary Studios' ever-evolving logo. So this just looks really cool. Let me bring this up here. So this is the I Am 8-Bit site where you can order this. See, now the article says coming soon, but this says you can add to cart and order it right away. So I don't know if you're pre-ordering this or if it's ready to ship out or not. But Conker's Bad Fur Day and Library, yes, yes, both. It's got music from both on here. 2.5 hours worth of legendary text. So obviously with all those games, you're not going to get all the music from all of these games. You're probably going to get like the main theme to each. But still, I think that's pretty cool. He said, love vinyl. I love game music. So this is something I definitely got to keep an eye on for sure to see if I maybe wind up picking it up. I don't know. We'll see. But I wanted to share this with you guys because I know a lot of you guys, fans of these games. I know a lot of times when people are talking about playing like Killer Instinct and Battletoads and whatever, one of the things people always bring up is the music in those games and how iconic they were and things like that. So this is really cool. Oh yeah, no. Sorry, sorry if it wasn't clear. This is records of the music from the games, which, again, I think is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of gaming music, so always cool to see stuff like this. All right, guys, we're getting close to the end here already. Let's see, got 2 super chats away from the goal to show you guys some of my video that I took down in New York City. Again, if it happens, it happens. If not, no big deal. You guys will see the shorts over the next week or so as I put them up. But if you want to see them, again, let me know. I'm going to finish up. I got one last thing that I wanted to bring up. Again, like I said, this was kind of a quiet week, so let me bring this up for you guys. Now, unfortunately, I missed the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo from a couple of weeks ago. But this is another one that's coming up in just a couple of weeks. This is going to be mid-September, September 12th, 13th, and 14th. This is the Retro World Expo. This is in Hartford, Connecticut. So if any of you are northern East Coast, like I am, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Hartford's not that far from the Massachusetts border, Connecticut. If you're anywhere in those areas, you might want to come check this out. I went to this a couple of years ago. We got one left. One left. Jim the Pacers fan. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. You know what? I always keep forgetting to do this. So let's do this. Here you go. Thank you for the super chat.
I'd buy that for $1.
I've got like 2 or 3 of those, and every time I get a super chat, I keep forgetting to use them. Would have super chatted earlier, but I didn't realize you had a show. Oh, $5. Awesome. You're the best, man. Thank you. Thank you again. I really appreciate it. Here you go. This one's for you.
Oh boy, is this great!
Thank you so much. That means we have hit our goal of 5 super chats. So I'm going to show you guys a little of my behind the scenes video in just a minute as soon as I finish this up. So again, Retro World Expo coming up in a couple of weeks. I've been talking to Glen Planamento and Glenn Baisley about going to this. So I think the 3 of us are going to go probably Saturday. I got to just double check with them and find out exactly which day they want to go, so I can get my ticket for it. But like I said, I went to this a couple of years ago. This was a lot of fun. Great open area with vendors. There's a small little section open arcade with arcade games and pinball games that you can just go and play. They're all on free play. If you're a big wrestling fan, this is a huge venue for wrestling. They're going to have the Retro World Rumble going on. So obviously, they're kind of celebrating Retromania Wrestling. I show you some of the guys that are going to be there. Like I said, for you that are big fans of wrestling. They got Demolition's going to be there. Buff Bagwell, Tommy Dreamer, Retro World Expo Live Pro Wrestling. So there's going to be a few different things. I know a lot of people love Demolition. So I'm not a big wrestling person, to be honest, but like I said, I know this venue, they've always got some cool wrestling stuff going on. If you're into that, you can see some of the other guests that are going to be here. A couple of people I'm kind of excited to meet. Nolan North, I'm a big fan of his. Love, the work he does on things like Uncharted and stuff like that. So he's pretty cool. Tim Kitro's going to be there. I know Glenn did a version of his smaller Build-A-Cade as NBA Jam. He's been wanting to gift it to Tim Kitzrow, so hopefully he'll get a chance to bring that to him that weekend. I'm debating. I want to get something signed. I might see if he's got NBA Jam marquees that he'll sign, and if so, I may pick one up from him. Because I think that would look really cool in the game room. A couple other really cool people that are going to be here. There's some other content creators are going to be there. You got Bob Neal from Retro RGB. Retro Rick is going to be there. Dan Larson's going to be there. Huge fan of Secret Galaxy, so it's cool to see him. I've met him at least once or twice before. Interestingly enough, Gamer Aimer is going to be there. Some of you may know my buddy Stephen Haywood, the Tech Buzz. He does a show with Gamer Aimer. Actually, he does a show that is opposite mine right now. So we're kind of, it's almost like we're rivals now, although I'll kind of get into that in just a little bit. But it looks like she's going to be there, which is cool. I haven't had a chance to meet her, so I'd love to meet her and say hi. Dan Kitchen's going to be there. Another guy that I'm actually really interested in meeting is Infidelity. I don't know how many people got a chance to watch it yet, but I posted a video earlier today on Infidelity's port of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out from NES to Super NES, where he added MSU1 support and save states and a bunch of other stuff to it. I've done a couple of videos on his stuff before, so it's going to be really cool to kind of meet him and get a chance to say hi. But I'm looking forward to this. These, like I said, these shows are a lot of fun. No Bill's Retro Gaming Show is a featured guest. I'm not going then. Who knows? Maybe one of these days, maybe if the channel gets a little bit bigger. I know Glen has been asked to be a part of some of these things in the past. I know he's been asked to be part of Cleveland Gaming Convention and Long Island Gaming Expo. But look, who knows? You never know what could happen, right? Been there, used to work somewhere that has a massive base there. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad ride for me. It's maybe an hour away from where I am. So, like I said, looking forward to going, hopefully, with Glen and Glen. Fat Hog is here. He just discovered I have a show, too. Imagine that. Always good to see you, Fat Hog 13. Thank you so much for stopping by. All right, so we got about 10 minutes left before 9 o'clock, before Arcades Anonymous comes on, or whatever else you guys want to do. And we did hit the super chat goal. So I want to show you guys some of the video that I took while I was in New York City yesterday. Like I said, a lot of this is going to be turned into shorts on the channel over the next few weeks. I'm going to edit a few of them. I'm going to take out some of the ambient background noise, swap it out for music and things like that. But this is the raw footage kind of behind the thing. You signed on in Meta? What's going on? I don't know. I don't think I am, unless the app is running. Could be the app running on my phone for all I know. I don't know, Mike. Every time I watch your show, if I go into the Meta app, you're signed on too. So I think it just does that if you've got the app open on your phone. But look, I promise you, I'm not playing. Not right now. All right, so let me bring up one of these right now. I'm going to start with a look at the Nintendo store. For any of you guys who've never been to the Nintendo store in New York City. And then you guys let me know what else you want to see. Do you want to see... I'll give you like 2 or 3 of these. We can do Midtown Comics. We can do the Harry Potter store. We can do the Barcade. And if we do the Barcade, do you want to see the walkthrough, or do you want to see me playing a little D&D pinball? Let me know what you guys want to do. But let me see if I can bring one of these up, and hopefully you guys will be able to hear. You'll be able to hear it too. If you can't hear the audio on it, it's not that big of a deal, because it's like I said, it's mostly just background noise, people in the background. So this is a walkthrough of the downstairs part of the Nintendo store in New York City. There's an upstairs part, as well. I'll show you guys the downstairs part for now. I'll save the upstairs part for when the shorts go live over the next few weeks. But just to kind of give you guys a look. Now, I took these using my Meta Ray-Bans. So I was actually not walking around with my phone out. This was just me walking around with my glasses on, taking the footage. And I think they take pretty good footage, actually. That's something else I've been thinking about doing, is doing a review of the Meta Ray-Bans. I've had them for like 6 months now, and I do like them. I don't use them every single day. I mostly use them when I'm going out somewhere to do stuff. I don't use them like sitting at my computer so much for work or whatever. But if I want to go out and do stuff, or if I want to do stuff like this and shoot content, they're actually pretty cool. Although, I tell you, I must have charged them like 3 or 4 times easily in the case walking around, because walking around, taking pictures, taking video just kills the battery on them. They're supposed to last about 4 hours. If you're taking constant video, I got to be honest, you're lucky to get like an hour, hour and a half out of them. But the store's pretty cool. I do like it. So this is what... Yeah, you've heard of that. You've heard that movie Being John Malkovich. This is Being Retro Bill. Is it, Mystery Encoder? Is this a joke, or are you serious with this one? A friend who lived there, he died. How did he die? He got hit by an ambulance. The funny thing is, like I said, being in New York, I don't go down to the city a lot, but when I do, I can kind of understand that. So I don't know if you're joking or not. Wow. I'll be honest with you, I can kind of see it happening. All right, so that's a look at the Nintendo store. Will this be PD? No. No, it will not. Nobody beats PD7 when it comes to walk and talks. These are not going to be walk and talks. These are just going to be, like I said, shorts for me walking around. Let's see. Let's do... Let's do this one next. So this is one of my favorite comic stores in New York City. This is Midtown Comics. This is not far from Times Square. This is 40th Street and 7th Avenue for anybody who is at all familiar with New York City. Really easy to get to from Grand Central. Although there is actually a Midtown Comics even closer to Grand Central. It's like on the backside of the terminal. You have to come out and kind of walk around up to like 45th Street or something like that. I forget, but I like this one better. It's actually easier to get to. But they've got a ton of, if you're into comics, they've always got a ton of new stuff. They've got a bunch of graphic novels. This is the downstairs area. Again, just showing the downstairs area. Upstairs is where they've got like a lot of the collectibles and stuff. They've got back issues of comics. They've got, like I said, a lot of collectibles, Funko Pops, toys. Unfortunately, it's New York, and it's expensive. The toys are ridiculous. I'm sorry, they're just ridiculously overpriced. You can get them cheaper on Amazon and a lot of other places, if I'm being quite honest. But it is just kind of cool to go around and look. I collected comics for years. I sold my comic collection a couple of years ago. That was actually how I got started into the home arcade, by selling off my comic collection and using that money to buy some of my first Arcade1ups to put it into some of the remodeling we did for what eventually became the game room and stuff. But there's a lot of stories that I really like. that I wish I still had to go back and read, and that's why I like picking up some of the trade paperbacks and graphic novels from time to time. As a matter of fact, I picked up one of the Sin City graphic novels that I didn't have while I was there, just because I figured why not. So that was always pretty cool. But here's just a look at part of Midtown Comics. I feel like all these in-store are overpriced, but it makes sense. They got to pay a lot of... So yeah, and Midtown's got they've got 3 locations in the city. So yeah. But I do miss some of the like the mom and pop comic stores. I really feel like there aren't too many of those around. All right, let's do see this one next. Show you guys a little bit of this one. I don't went to Albany once, skipped New York City. Yeah. Well, technically it is. Albany is the capital of the state, so this is the Harry Potter store in New York City. This is actually a lot of fun if you're into the books or the movies and whatever. A lot of really cool stuff in this store. One of the really cool things in here is they've got a bar area where you can get a butterbeer. And I don't know if you've ever been to Universal in Florida, and I forget if Universal Hollywood have a Harry Potter place like. Yes. Okay. There we go. Harry Potter store at Universal Studios, California. So it's got to be similar, where they sell butterbeer. Oh man, that stuff is so good. So it's pretty cool. You can actually buy it bottled here too. You can buy bottles of it and take it home, or you can get the butterbeer here. The only thing is, if you buy it here, they give it to you in a mug and whatever, and you've got to drink it in the store. You can't take it and leave. You've got to basically just kind of stay there for a few minutes, drink your butterbeer, and then you can go. But like I said, they do sell it bottled also, so if you want to pick up bottles of it, you can. But like I said, if you like Harry Potter, if you're into anything Harry Potter, this is a really cool store to check out. It really is good. It really is good. It's got like a kind of a butterscotch flavor to it. Yeah, well, that's the way to really go with it. That's the way to go with it for sure. Jeez, Brooklyn. And holy gunpoint 3 times Manhattan, once in Brooklyn, got away every time. Well, thank God for that. Thank God for that. But yeah, I tell you, New York can really be kind of scary sometimes if you're not careful. You got to really watch where you're going for sure. And I'm going to say this just to say it. I shy away from politics, but I have to admit that I'm very nervous about the guy who is very likely to be the next mayor of New York City. I don't live in New York City. I can't vote for mayor at all, but I got to say I'm nervous about what's going to happen if this guy gets in. I'll just leave it at that. I'll show you guys just a couple more to finish this up. So yeah, it's like a cream soda, caramel extract, butterscotch topping are all the main things. Yeah, it's like I said, it's got a kind of a butterscotch flavor to it, but it's really good. And if you top it with a little like butterscotch or vanilla ice cream to kind of give it that foam, like they do at in the parks or in the stores, really good. Lucky you made it back to share these tales. I'll tell you, back in the late 80s and early 90s. Yeah, well, that I understand. That kind of makes sense because, yeah, the place, before they, quote unquote, Disneyfied Times Square, when they had when they brought in like the Disney Store and Toys R Us. Toys R Us is no longer there, but it was like probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Toys R Us in the world at one point. Yeah, before all of that, New York City was definitely a mess. But unfortunately, it's starting to get kind of crazy again. So I am definitely nervous about things. I'm going to be down there again in October because New York Comic Con is coming up in early October. I'm going to be there all 4 days for that: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Ritual Dello, I don't know if you're still in the chat here. I know sometimes you go. Let me know, Brooklyn. I don't know if you've ever been or not. If any of you guys are going to be going to Comic Con, definitely let me know, and maybe we can do something. Maybe we can hang out or something. All right, so I'm going to show. I haven't seen him in a really long time. The Naked, to believe it or not. Yeah, no. First off, never. If you're a tourist in New York City, do not take your picture with any of those characters walking around that Times Square area. Look, listen. If you got little kids and they want to have their picture taken with Mickey or Minnie or Spider-Man or some of those things, and you're willing to fork up some cash, okay, but they will harass you for money. Now, technically, you don't need to pay them, technically, but they will goad you in to come take a picture, and then they will harass you for money. What's the matter? Not a fan of Sharia law and socialism? I vote every November. I'll just, like I said, I'm not going to get into it. I will just leave it at that. All right. I don't want to, all right, I'm not going to show the walkthrough of the barcade because I want to save that one, but I will show you guys just a couple of things from the barcade that I went to, and I think you guys will like this one. Let me tee this up. So, please bear in mind, I am not the best pinball player in the world, but I have fun. And this is Dungeons & Dragons: The Tyrant's Eye. This is, I think, the second time I've played this. I played this at this barcade a few months back, last time I went to the city. But the footage I grabbed, I wasn't too thrilled with back then, so I took some more video this time. Seconds. New guy that asks. Yeah, those guys are just as bad. The guys with the CDs. They hand you the CD and then they like harass you. They definitely harass you for money on it. You got to stay away from all. If you're a tourist coming to New York, just stay away from all those guys. Trust me. But this is a lot of fun, this Dungeons & Dragons. This is definitely one of my favorite Stern pinballs. I played this. They have, at this barcade, they have this one. They have, and they have Stranger Things. I did play a little Stranger Things, but I didn't, my glasses were dying, so I didn't get any video of that while I was there. They've also got Black Knight 2000. They've got an older Pulp Fiction. It's not the Stern one. I forget who made the original one, but they've got that there too. So they got like 4 or 5 different pinball machines at this barcade, and then of course they've got a lot of the older arcade games. I'll show you one other game that I played before we wrap this up. But this Dungeons & Dragons, this is a lot of fun. And even though I don't own any of the Stern machines, I do have the app for the Insider, so I put that on while I was playing. So hopefully, if I go back and play again, I can pick up where I left off. No worries, Mystery. Thank you for stopping by. I get it. I'm going to try to wrap up real soon anyway, so everybody can go over to Arcades Anonymous and check them out. Again, definitely appreciate you stopping by.
Now's our chance. What could go wrong?
Not to worry.
Yeah, but this one, like I said, this one is just... Oh, Mike! Sorry, man. You are going to have to go watch the replay. You're definitely going to have to go watch the replay. Sorry, brother. By the way, guys, if you didn't see Mike of All Trades' new video where he shows his restoration of his Marvel Superheroes cab, check it out. He did a really great job on that cab. It's coming along awesome. It looks really cool. Definitely check out his video on it. He did a really great job on it. It looks fantastic. All right. Guys, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to wrap things up because, as has been pointed out, it's almost 10 after 9. Arcades Anonymous is on. I will have the redirect to send you guys right over to them, so you can just stay right here and go check them out if that's what you want. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for the last hour. So thank you again so much for the super chats. This was fun doing this goal. I hope you guys enjoyed some of the behind the scenes footage of me in New York City. Like I said, I've got a bunch more of those. They're going to be up on the channel as shorts over the next week or so. Like I said, I'm going to do some editing to them. Some of them I'm going to change out and put some music to them and stuff. So keep an eye out for that if you want to see more of that. But I definitely appreciate you guys hanging out and doing that with me. Couple of little side notes really quick before I wrap up. So there will be no show next Wednesday. Monday's Labor Day. Wednesday I've got something going on, so I'm not going to be able to do a show. But there is the possibility that I might be moving the show. I'm actually considering moving it to Sunday evenings, maybe either before 19K Fox or after him. I'm not sure. My wife is working a new case. She's got a new. My wife's a nurse. She's got a new patient that she's going to be working or supposed to be working a 3 to 11 shift. We'll know for sure within this next week if she got that position or not. So with her working a 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. shift on a Sunday, it's actually a better time for me to do a show because it's not going to interfere with family time and doing stuff with her. So I might move the show for a while to Sundays while she's doing that case to free up the week. But I'll let you guys know before that happens. So keep an eye on the channel and enjoy Arcades Anonymous or the rest of the week or whatever else you've got planned. And thank you again for stopping by and hanging out. I'll see you guys soon. Take care and happy gaming.